single game today has been won by the Dire side.
Oh shit, dog!
It has.
Okay. Damn. Who's on Dire this game?
Dire this game will be CompLexity.
The Jug and Viper fall off in comparison to Lost in the would you say? No, actually the Jug's probably the best, isn't it?
Jug scales well.
Jug scales the better, yeah.
Quap scales very well, the level 25 talent.
The Quaps...
Like this new like Mjolnir Octarine build we see is very strong late game, but so I think Viper doesn't scale well, but same for Lifestealer. Neither of these heroes scale well. It's the Quap and the Jug who both can scale decently. Outside of that, Tide is actually incredibly good late game. Like Tide at 40, 50 minutes in just gets stronger and stronger. The refresher and all his late game items and the shorter duration on BKBs. So I think as far as offlaners go, perhaps there's a bit of an edge there, whereas Nightstalker Jakiro wouldn't really consider these strong scaling heroes.
Yeah, did you like this decision as well, and for this time around for the core to be the Nightstalker rather than the Jakiro once again, having Swindles on the...
Because the Chen pick, I think it makes sense. Otherwise you have a Chen Nightstalker support duo, which is very awkward since you don't really have a good way to secure your lanes. Whereas Nightstalker can just be that tanky frontliner. Demon's going to perhaps even just be contesting bottom lane with the Nightstalker anyways, knowing that this lifesteal is very weak in lane, has that low base armor and can be bullied a lot.
So we'll see if Athlete wants to go for this. And he certainly will. And he will manage to grab it as well. Gets the bounty. A bit quicker on the fingers there.
Reals he's top, but that doesn't really matter all too much. I mean, it theoretically could. It now means that Colt know they can play even more aggressive this bottom lane. I say that he TP's bottom. Yeah,
okay.
This bottom lane is a difficult lane for Freedom. They're going to leave the Bane mid-level 1 just to try and negate this matchup advantage as well.
So we'll see how much they're able to get done. Chessie straight at level 1 with that corrosive skin, making sure that that Shadow Strike harass will be certainly turned back into the face of CCNC. Beat back from the passive. And yeah, these side lane snaking on this off-lane Tide. Do you imagine he's going to have a pretty good time up here up top?
It looks like it. For now, it's a Jug Chen, but Chen with some dangerous creeps could definitely apply some pressure. Coming in early with a Hellbear. Doesn't he be careful? This early levels is definitely a dangerous time to be in this lane.
That's it. Just giving Snaking the run back out of lane. Yeah, you're certainly right. Already bringing down to half health. Bottom lane, Bane moving down here to join the Treant and the Lifestealer. Secure that place and farm for Yawar.
Yeah, quickly realize mid lane is not going to be the place to be when there's a pesky dual lane down bottom, but they have sentries ready for this Treant. So they will be able to see him swooping on in.
That just happened because Swindle's coming very close over. You'd imagine that Freedom will be aware the sort of vision is there. The Melon's being forced to back away, so definitely this presence securing the space for the Lifestealer. Mid lane, CCNC already being forced to pop a sow. Same thing to be said up on top. Or Tidehunter, as he does get chased right back by the Chen.
Chen is getting super aggressive with this top lane, playing like a more like 5 position Chen, where he just goes to the safe lane, harasses, helps his carry win his lane, but for now, Chen happy just to stay a bit under level, be level 1, and know that his carry is getting a lot more farm as a result, while Tide is not getting anything.
Yeah. Just securing that flow of the lanes at the moment. Mid lane, CS 13 for 3, 12 for 4, very close between the two of them. But as we're seeing with these levels now, this point where it's very hard for CCNC to get any harass in onto Chessie without Chessie being able to turn back around with a quick couple of hits.
Yeah, most lanes you'll see Quap get 2 points in Shadow Strike. Viper is not one of those lanes. Go for the max scream as early as possible, just to focus more on farming, trying to sustain himself in this lane, but very difficult to do so. By a double salve, knowing that he's going to continue to get harassed heavily.
I mean, so hard for CCNC really to come close now. It's got to that point where he needs backup, or, as you said, with the screen, needs to look to try and farm elsewhere. Hope to get that crew wave back in his favour. Bottom lane, bit of a go on to Swindles here, and with the chase down, they should get this, and they will. First blood goes to the side of Freedom.
Nice little kill. Definitely something they needed when you're, I'd say, losing your other 2 lanes. I think Tide's doing alright. He's not losing hardcore by any means, but considering he's against a Jug and just a Chen, they've done a very good job zoning him out and keeping him bullied. Viper's winning the mid lane, at least by a small margin, so they need to find kills or at least do something about this Night Stalker at bottom.
I mean, top lane Moo trying to do his best to harass back the Tide Hunter with the Blade Fury.
Jug's very good against the Tide in early stages. I mean, all stages really. You're not too afraid of a Ravage with the Blade Fury, and even in lane, you can very easily kill him with an aggressive Blade Fury. You get the early phase boots up, and this lane gets very difficult for Tide around. I mean, Jug level 6 is a huge threat to kill a Tide Hunter.
Seeing in the mid lane as well, both heroes constantly ferrying out salves to them, trying to keep themselves with that health advantage, and it still does continue to pay off for the Viper. Now, as Chessie very hard to bully. We've seen C come in a few times with a screen, but very minimally does. I mean, what's the skill build he's got on the Viper? Is he maxing out that corrosive?
2-1-2 for now.
2-1-2 at the moment.
Yeah,
okay.
Wants the extra little bit of DPS from the poison attack. Don't think he needs it. As soon as you start winning your lane as a Viper, you can kind of tone back on getting corrosive points because you want to go for the damage. Viper is just like, you find the right balance between damage and survivability. Bottom lane, a bit of a fight.
And they will manage to get the kill here.
Demon.
In return, though, Z-Freaks turn up on the Chen. They'll take down the Bane for it, and CompLexity will get the 2 of them. Double kill for Z-Freak with the very strong Chen rotation. Mid lane again, CCNC backed up. Tried to do what he can in the jungle camps. Has to make the walk back to base.
Very rough for him. Hasn't even got his bottle out yet.
On top lane, snaking may just be being outplayed by Moon, indeed he does. The crit comes in, and you mentioned it, yeah. The Jug versus Tide, you can have a good lane as the Jug, and if the miscalculations there from Tide overstepping the mark, you can even lose your life in that matchup.
That's without the Omni Slash, and now level 6 off of that kill. He has both Blade Fury and Omni Slash. He has the Mango and Stick Charges. Snaking, you need to be very careful against this Jug now. Moo's clarity up, so he's going to try and not go too aggressive just yet. He wants to get max regen out of that, but very good chance Moo can pose a threat for a kill again soon.
You can see it, CCNC was...
Moo's going in top. He's baited Snaking and won't dive the tower. Had the Omni Slash, but the creep wave showed up.
Lane, Swindles, again being surrounded here by the 3 of them. Tries to fly himself across the tree line into the TP. He's not going to make it. CCNC in with the rotation. All punishing. They did know that CCNC was on his way down there. They had Z-Freaks creeps on him, but Swindles looks like he didn't get the message in time.
At that point, he perhaps just thought he could bait the full rotation and then make a nice last-second juke or something, but unfortunately doesn't play out that way. See what Freedom look to do. This bottom lane continues to go well for them, but we're at this point where Tide can't even go to lane, so Jug is going to free farm while Tide will farm very slowly. Tide jungle definitely possible, but it's nowhere near the farming experience you'd hope to get on your Tide. Similarly, this Queen of Pain is just going to keep getting bullied out of the lane. Level 7 on Viper versus a level 5.5 Quap. Chessie is dominating CCNC.
Yeah, it's really gearing up to be one of those games where this Viper is going to be so hard to take down. At the start, he could hope for. Very little really Team Freedom could do in terms of rotating as well. There was just very few outs in terms of slowing him down in the laning stage.
They can't rotate mid, so CCNC is just going to rotate bottom. Again, though, that ward's scouting him, so it should not work, and Swindles trying to push his hero to the limit is getting some XP and even farm while this Quap sits at bottom lane.
And that really is the thing. I mean, where do you take this Quap? You can't really farm mid. Bottom lane rotations are becoming increasingly harder with the step up of awareness from CompLexity. They'll try with the jump in, but again, it's to very little avail. You can't really go top. Jug has got the Blade Fury and such to get away. It's getting very hard for this Queen of Pain, CCNC, to have the presence that he wants to on this hero at this early stage of the game.
This is going so well for Cole. They're winning, not just that they're winning 2 of the 3 lanes, but they're dominating those respective lanes, and Z-Freak's being very effective with his rotations.
I mean, Z-Freak's got more farm than the Queen of Pain at this stage.
Forced to just blink out and abandon this mid lane. We're going to start seeing towers falling, I imagine. Both mid and top lane are very difficult to defend. The Jug able to solo kill anyone, so if you want to defend top, you need to bring multiple heroes, it feels like, since any lone hero is going to get Omni Slashed and brought down. outside of the top, I guess, which is where CNC is actually now going to go to the off lane. It's like, all right, I'm just going to go to the Jug's lane.
That's probably the best. I mean, he's not necessarily going to kill the Jug, but he's going to be able to get some farm here in relative safety, just in a 1v1.
Yeah, he can escape both the Blade Fury and the Omni Slash.
Yeah.
Gives him some solace there, but as a result, mid lane will get pressured. It means if he goes to top lane, the mid lane has no way to be protected, and Demon's even coming in with some liquid fire action, and mid tier 1 likely to go down without much of a fight.
And once again, CompLexity with a very strong pushing lineup. Be a nightmare onto Chessie, but no follow-up at all. I'll be interested to see what Chessie does go for this game. He's got 12 inches saved up. I mean, is this a game where he could think about picking up a mech for his team, or is that less likely nowadays on the Viper?
I'd say Dragonlance or Midas are the two that stand out to me. He gets the Ogre Club now, so it will be a Dragonlance. Sometimes you see like fast Dragonlance and go back for the Midas. I think Cole's fast pace is not going to be suited for the Midas on a core. Supports getting Midas is one thing. Not that either of their supports are really Midas heroes. But I think the call is definitely going to be from the captain. No, let's not get Midas, let's push. Let's play a fast tempo. Let's go for like Dragonlance, SMY or something. Just get stats. Viper is definitely a hero that he's going to go very stat heavy on.
Bottom lane, F-Lee. With eyes onto Z-Freak, but Z-Freak with the presence of a lot of his team and CompLexity. They're ready to dive in deep. You've got to run, you've got to hide. Straight up rage here from your War. As he tries to juke this out, but the Viper Strike comes and he'll infest into the creep. But they won't be able to take it down straight away. CCC jumping in, looking for the turnaround, and will be able to bring down Z-Freak on the front lines of this. Now looking to open up onto Chessie, but the Ravage coming through as well. Snaking with the setup for the Sonic Wave. Chessie trying for the TP out, he's not going to make it. Team Freedom, they find themselves 2. Can they get themselves more? They're looking for Swindles. Surrounding him here in the tree line, but he jumps over the cliff very nicely and will get himself away. But at the end of the day, good response there from Freedom.
Yeah.
Taking down Chessie and putting an end to the push.
That's such an aggressive dive. If you're going to dive underneath the tower with multiple heroes to go on someone like a Lifestealer, you need to have your whole team. I think that move is okay if Moo's making a rotation down there, but with just the 4-man move, you've got to just slowly siege the tower. You can't go for the full-on overcommittal with 4 heroes, because that's where Freedom will punish you. They bring in the Ravage, and they're ready to defend that one. So really nice move from Snaking, coming in when it's needed for his team.
Very nice indeed there. The exact plays that Team Freedom need to kind of rectify some of these tougher lanes that they've had to start with. Up top now, F-Lee coming in. His eyes onto the Jug. But for the most part, Moo still getting pretty much uninterrupted farm up here. Mentioned that. Certainly costing him, well, his team at least, the lacking of power in that bottom fight because he didn't turn up. I'm sure that his time up top is not time wasted.
Yeah, see, trees level 6 will help anything at all. These towers getting chipped away, we will see living armor begin to be leveled up, but I'm not sure how much of a solution is that going to be, because when Colt go for these towers, they're going to make full-on committals, and living armor is not going to keep them alive necessarily. No Ravage means defending this bottom lane is going to be very difficult, although both Lifestealer and Tide are headed that direction. They know, again, you defend them, you get to heal them up. And Colt are splitting their resources. They're not going for a full 5-on push, which makes it harder to break these towers because they're keeping Moo on this top lane.
So, yeah, and just sort of play around with them. F-Lee not fully commit for any further plays, as you know, elsewhere. The bottom lane where the most interest is. But the Lifestealer, they are using Snaking to bait. He's taking a lot of heavy harassment and may end up just going down there. He will just survive the living armor. Finally goes down from a void from Swindle Melons. They'll jump out, but it could be them losing 2, and they will indeed. They'll get the Night Stalker, but it cost them 2 lives. But Chessie just turns, right-clicks him down with a Viper, and picks up a double kill.
Doing this without the Jug again. Jug helped bring down the top tower, although it did get denied by the Treant, so kind of obnoxious plays coming out from the Treant, but ultimately not the kind of plays that are going to be all too impactful on this game. Towers continue to fall.
And CCNC being chased down it. He's gone. He's not going to get the chance to blink out with the blink still on cooldown after the first jump away.
The Ravage.
See what they can do. Chasing down Z-Freak. Z-Freak, can he get himself out? He can't. The Rage is enough for allowing Yawar to chase it down. Swindles Now Return comes in, looking to find something in response. They have brought down the Jakiro, but Chessie diving in deep with Moon now has moved over to the bottom lane. Will chase down the Bane, take the kill, now get the tier 1. Swindle continuing to just chase your War, keep him away from any chance of actually getting involved in this action down on the bottom lane. And the space is made for CompLexity to find the tower, and now with Mood down here, maybe even move on for more. He's still ready to go on this Jug.
I mean, it's such a tough game for Lifestealer, I feel. They picked it against the Chen creeps, but ultimately, the Chen creeps aren't the big problem right now. Silence up high.
They're just diving the tower now. CC&C straight out of the fight. The Ravage will come out, bringing Mood down low, but he gets the chance for the Omni Slash. Picks up a kill, will be punished, but it is going to be CompLexity moving in, again ensuring that they secure the team fight. Even though they've lost Mood, comes out with a crybaby. But again, it's the favored numbers for CompLexity. They'll take another tower, and it's just the pressure and the lineup that they drafted to play this sort of style. It seems to be really working against Team Freedom's lineup.
When you have these strong mid-game push lineups and you dominate the lane stage, you're in a fantastic position because you're able to push. The big problem with a lot of push drafts is that you don't have strong enough lanes, so you don't get to push because you require levels and items before you can group up as 5. But Cole's lanes were won handily by the Viper. The Jug just did fine in like what was essentially a 1v1 for a lot of the lane. And they've already completed the mech on the Chen now, so it's very difficult to teamfight into. This kind of negates what Tide brings to the table, and this Trine isn't really a scary teamfight presence because you throw an Overgrowth, the damage follow-up is kind of lackluster. The Quap Sonic Wave is just level 1. We're basically a level 9 Queen of Pain. Meanwhile, Jug level 13, Viper level 12, Volfazzi level 13. So very under-leveled and under-farmed CompLexity. Team Freedom core heroes right now.
No, I mean, maybe you kill the Chen, but yeah, these cores and the Jakiro and Night Stalker, they're so beefy with all the backup of God Mech, Healing War. Very hard for the lineup of Team Freedom to actually kill off. They'll look for the tier 1 top, but again, it's going to be a trade that CompLexity are fine, but they'll lose that tier 1. And for it, they'll take Roshan. They'll get Aegis onto Chessie. And they'll be ready to go for another tier 2 push when they want to. CompLexity, as they know that they have this strength that the Team Freedom still lack at this stage again, 15 minutes in.
I think Freedom can do all too much about these pushes at this point. Tide waiting on his mech perhaps, but even that is not necessarily going to be a big game changer. We're going to likely see them just abandon multiple outer towers in quick succession and play around their high ground defense.
And they're even going to make a go onto Snaking. They've got a hell of a lot of creeps. I don't think they've got enough damage unless they bring in someone else. They are going to try and chase.
They may be able to break high ground mid while they distract the Tide. That's actually a really nice play.
Yeah, they're keeping Snaking busy down bottom. And as you said, yeah, it just opens up this mid lane to go. They don't have to worry about the Tide's presence. And finally, Snaking will be able to TP back out. But already the tier 3 down to half of his health and CompLexity, they're going to be able to finish it off. So that little play there between Z-Freak's creeps and Swindle Melon's Night Stalker just opening up the mid lane perfect.
They'll commit to it. They'll leave Chessie on the high ground too with the Aegis. They're not too afraid about him being gone on.
CCC jumps forward, but immediate Viper Strike in response. With the stun for Z-Freak, he falls down low, will survive it thanks to the Shrine Heal. Now, Chessie needs to get himself out, will be chased down by Yawar. They'll see how talented this Viper is though, they can't quite finish him. The Ravage now coming through, but the Hand of God Mech not enough to save him. The Sonic Wave will burst down Chessie. And now the rest of CompLexity looking to come back up to the high ground. They know that there's no Sonic Wave, they know that there's no Ravage.
Still fairly healthy here. They have lost the Aegis though.
Chessie being gone on again. Move forward, Bromley with the Blade Fury. Chessie falling down low. Ice Path is out. Not enough to save him. Chessie will go down. The buyback comes out from Bane. They're doing everything they can to get CompLexity out of their base, Team Freedom. They'll chase down Swindle Melons, take the Night Stalker. Now with the Nightmare set up, they're ready to find more out of this one. And it did cost them the Bane buyback. But they hold the base. They take down 3, they take the Aegis, and they force CompLexity out of the middle lane.
Yeah, pretty good hold in the end. Like a Bane buyback, not too worrying at this point for Team Freedom. What is worrying is you've lost your tier 3 tower and almost a ranged racks this early on, but at this point you just need to be holding onto your racks against this very heavy push draft. Try and buy time to finish some of these big key items, get some more levels, like getting a level 2 Sonic Wave up, level 2 Ravage. You need all the damage you can get in a game like this, but here come Cole, and I don't know if Freedom are going to be ready to fight with Ravage down.
And Moo's got a double damage as well.
Luckily, it's daytime for them.
Just get yourself out if you're Team Freedom. Got to be very careful, especially at this stage, especially outside of their base. We saw how, in terms of holding the high ground, they've definitely got a good chance. The ultimate's up, but outside of the base, it's still a bit of a different story.
Yep. We'll slow down a little while Chen rebuilds his army. He's only got 1 creep at the moment, so wants to probably rebuild that a bit. Maybe he's only level 8 too, so I don't think Cole want to necessarily overcommit too much. Just keep on maintaining this full-on 5-man push. Seems like they're going to divide up their heroes a bit more. Swindle still has a Midas queued up, so it looks like he's intent on at least guaranteeing some late-game itemization. When you're going for these heavy 5-man push draft, you're not going to get much alone time, much farm, so the Midas will at least mean that he's not too crippled because of that. Should this game drag out, should Team Freedom find a way to continue to defend their high ground. Very early Solar Crest on Tree. He's farmed a lot. Surprised to see him finish that one, but he has often been alone in the lane farming while his team fight is forward and he just throws a living armor, so this item will help quite a bit against the Jugs damage output in an Omni Slash, or against Viper right click, but not going to help on your buildings.
Certainly not. And that is where the trouble comes. They certainly can break high ground. CompLexity around those ultimates. That is the thing. They do have to be careful with the rampages. We've seen some really nice ones with Snake. But Jesse, and with them going in like that with the Sonic Wave, the full 5 of them, they'll take it. They'll bring down the Viper. The tier 1 as well. Freedom making some smart moves here to try and regain control of a game that has been falling out of control.
Yeah, kill and a tower out of that. Those will add up very quickly to Team Freedom, and again, the big thing is they held onto their high ground. I mean, at least their racks. They get to heal up the range racks using the living armor, and it's going to be CompLexity perhaps waiting for another Aegis or at least a key pickup before they can really do anything about pushing high ground again. And it does feel like damage output is going to be an issue for this CompLexity draft. 4 of these 5 heroes really don't do a whole lot. The one being the Jakiro with an Omni Slash. Sorry, Jakiro with an Omni Slash. Jug with an Omni Slash. It's getting late. But like the Viper, the Night Stalker, these are tanky heroes, but they're not going to be able to actually burst anyone down. The Tide in the front lines with a mech is pretty much unkillable. Lifesteal's gone this tankier SMY armlet build, so it does feel like as time goes on, Cole need to come up with some way of guaranteeing more damage output. Moo's not going any kind of blink or diffusal build. He's going for a Shadow Blade, which is a bit more kind of damage output. Silver Edge is good against the Tide as well, if you want to initiate on him. But yeah, I think Cole need to be careful that this game doesn't drag out too much.
Yeah, if they're able to get the Tide out of the start of the fight, it would be nice. You know, the Ravage has certainly been something that's caused issues for CompLexity, and they'll look to try and make a go potentially. TP Nova actually TP from Jakiro cancelled, as he will not be joining them for this movement.
Looks like he might show bottom. Yeah, he'll drop a Macropire and say, oh look, we're bottom, but realistically they're actually ganking the Lifestealer here who uses Rage. The TP is going to be timed perfectly though.
Yeah, he's out before any sort of smoke catches him. Yeah, just Team Freedom now playing a step ahead of CompLexity. Reading their movements, making sure not to get caught out by them, and securing that farm for you are.
Recovered pretty nicely after a rough laning stage, and they count Freedom.
Cool script straight away onto Jesse. The light still opening up onto him as well to bring the Viper down low. Jesse trying to keep himself alive with the stick charges. It's not enough. Jesse's down. And immediately, Freedom looking to see if they can move up for more. They'll get the dagger onto Swindles. No further damage to chase him, but with Jesse down, you can see if they can get some objectives done. And yeah, this is going to be a bit scary for CompLexity. They keep letting that Viper go down on the front lines, and are unable to do anything to actually try and, you know, capitalize on the time it takes for the side of Team Freedom to bring him down.
Already feeling and seeing the Viper fall off. Slax kind of said it, Viper wins the lane but not the game, and not to say that's always the case, but this Viper is already dying a few times recently, and one of those things is Viper. The first time you start to die, the game will quickly swing against you. You really need to maintain that momentum, pushing towers, pressuring lanes consistently as a Viper, or your opposing team gets too much room, and if it drags, Viper will struggle to scale into the late game.
They're going for that Manza style, so he has something to remove the open wounds and the overgrowth. Yeah, also he has something to... Let's say it's going to be nice if he does get orchided by CCNC. He's probably going to want to find... Well, even the Joke's got a Mantra as well, of course, by now, so...
Yeah.
That orchid... I guess it's still a nice pickup, but certainly its kind of usefulness is going to be stinted by the fact that it wasn't necessarily the quickest of all.
Absolutely, it's not gonna necessarily help kill these cores all too much. May enable him just to like jump a Night Stalker or something and see how it pans out. An item, which does give him some damage output, some mana regens. Like it's pretty good for its stats always, but of course the silence the big part of it.
And I guess ultimately you will be wanting that blood to deal with any sources of evasion that Complexity have out in the minute.
Chen's already got the Solar Crest queued up with a medallion. Night Stalker has the Crippling Fear, so it is a late game item, which is part of Queen of Pain's arsenal. Freedom making all the moves right now to look for another initiation.
Trying to open up on the Snake. They're thinking about it, but they know that it's not really the hero you want to go on. You don't just want to run in on a Tide like that, because you know that he's going to get the chance to Ravage and for backup to turn up. So they just have to hold back and get away from that, as they know that they've got to find some other way of getting in on the fight. Roshan backup as well, which is great news for Freedom as they move into the pit. The Complexity, they need to do something about it.
They don't seem to be reacting in fast enough pace to stop this, and they may not even realize what's going on. They may just be like, oh yeah, we're ahead, right? We're pushing towers, we took a tier 3, but done nothing to really keep the pressure up on the map, and as a result, this Roche is going to get scouted too late.
Yeah, it's gone. The illusion comes through, but it's held back. And there we have it. Aegis picked up by CCNC. Cheese into the hands. The Life Stealer. They are certainly good to go. This lead that Complexity did have, slowly being closed by the side of Freedom.
Definitely concerned right now, as they haven't been able to fully capitalize on their good early game, the way they won the lanes and pushed down all these outer towers. Suddenly, all it took was one good hold and a couple item pickups, and Freedom going to be able to take any fights they want now.
Certainly seems to be the case. Mid lane, Chessie. Pseudo tries to go on snaking, but with a hood up, Snake. TP straight out. Have no worries at all with this Viper at this stage. It really is going to be the Viper falling off at this point of the game. Even the survivability, as we've seen from the last few times, isn't enough to really do too much for Chessie, as he can still be taken down at the start of the fight.
It was like stage of the game where Plexi want to start looking at what moves they can make, start chewing through some smokes. They've got a couple on Demon, but it's been all Freedom, like smoking up, initiating on Viper, killing him a couple of times, which was a big part of their downfall, but just haven't seen Complexity make similar kind of rotations, and without like a key pick-off out of a smoke, you're not going to be able to create an opportunity to actually break through any buildings. And Freedom are continuing to just control the map better. They've got the Treant scouting everywhere, and they're using that vision from the Treant just to farm and push the other lanes.
Top late has eyes on Swindles, who is closing in on that Aghanims. 500 gold and he'll have it on the Night Stalker.
The Axe Gem is definitely going to make a big difference.
Yeah,
respond to this Treant.
Yeah, if anything, if they could just get through to start the fights. But not talking about Athlete, he's there with CCNC opening up onto the Night Stalker. No messing as CCNC drops the Sonic Wave, guarantees the kill.
Good kill. You're not really looking to save those ults for a team fight or to try and go for a push. At this point, if you're Freedom, you're happy just to take what farm you can, find the pickoffs, play for the late game. Lifesteal's farming very well right now. I thought this hero may be falling off a bit in the late game, but with all the farm he's getting, he's actually itemizing much better than the Viper is. to go late.
Yeah, he was being very good at finding. He's sort of opening across the map. Whenever he can. Interesting as well, Chessie actually looking to build himself his own Solar Crest.
Very good item for defensive purposes, but
I mean, do you really want to be building on your core Viper that you kind of be hoping to scale it on, especially when you've already got a Solar Crest on your team?
I think if you were winning more, yes, because it's like a fairly cheap, cost-effective item. But considering the state of the game now, yeah, this game's going late. If you're CompLexity, you have to recognize and acknowledge we missed our early game timing. Let's go for plan B, which is the Midas Night Stalker, farm up the Ags, get a gem, get some damage on Viper, get some damage on Jug, and play more for the late game, which isn't really something Solar Crest gives you.
Windows will be spotted out here by the Bane, but quick reactions as he plays his way out with the Crippling Fit.
Yeah. If he had this item, like when they're breaking the high ground mid, I think it would have been very effective because it stops a lot of the damage output, but
what, 30 minutes in?
Not the ideal option.
Yeah, Manta Viper it just feels like Manta Solar Crest Viper, it's just not going to do anything. I mean, he might be a little bit of a difficulty to take down, but he is going to be doing very little in terms of turning back and getting any damage out onto the side of Team Freedom. Going to be tough for Chessie.
Yeah. You can see kind of where most of the lanes are positioned now. Mid lane, top lane, pushing very deep on the map. That CompLexity struggling. They've only got that bottom lane working for them.
Mid lane Swindler's nearly getting taken down. In fact, he will be. The Orchid Soul Burn is enough to pop him, and he's down for 50 seconds. Solar Crest now complete on Chessie. We'll see how much you can do from there. We'll pop the Aegis, in fact, onto yes, you can see the grip straight away onto Chessie. Will play out to get the Mantos back to the shrine. Starts to heal up. Ravage comes in though for the snaking, catching out 3, forcing them back as they head straight up to high ground. Will take the Silver Edge hit though, and now the tide's starting to melt. He's going to go for the TP out here, straight on the high ground. He's going to make it. Snaking gets away, and we just, even with the break on him, it doesn't matter that he didn't have the Cracker Shell because CompLexity still just lacked the damage to actually kill him.
That was a gutsy TP, but it pays off, and the lack of right click is really being highlighted there. This Viper just needs more. He completely crushed the lane, had such a good early game, but finds himself here, 30 minutes in, lacking.
Yeah, what does he do? I mean, I really feel he needs damage. Chessie needs to find it from somewhere.
It's kind of hard because you're at this point now, like, you can't change your items, and you've committed to this build. You can't really suddenly flash farm a new item. Like, if you go, like, maybe a wrong item as a flash farming, like, Battle Fury carry or something like an anti-mage, it's like, well, it's very easy to say, oh, whatever, I'll just farm for a bit longer. But Viper's a hero, you don't want to just spend 5-10 minutes farming. You always want to be applying pressure. So it's a very unforgiving hero if you mess up an item purchase or you mess up and get picked off somewhere. Suddenly you find yourself in a tough spot. But they're going all in. They know there's no Ravage. They want to press it.
So as you can see, the face actually comes back in with the overgrowth from the back of it all. Mood jumped in with the Omnislash, but again, it barely did anything. You know, the mech comes out and Freedom, they're back up to full health.
Overgrowth was a bit rushed, perhaps. The follow-up damage is not there.
Now, looking again onto Jug, Mood forced to Manta. Back away, Chessie. I mean, he's firing out attacks, but it's just not doing anything.
Yeah, on both sides, kind of. Like, I feel like
for sure, yeah, there's definitely damage limitation on both.
Freedom used a couple of ultis there, but Cole still can't punish. There was a wasted overgrowth and then a Fiend script that got instantly cancelled. And the fact that Freedom can mess up some of those ultis and not get punished really speaks to the limitations of Cole's draft right now.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel this game is going to be won by whichever team can get a damage out on their core first. I mean, Moo's going for the diffuser. What we've seen on Yawar, is he trying to gear up on a bit of right? He is. He's going for the MK pool. If he gets the MK, I mean, already with the AC, definitely Yawar at the moment is the highest physical damage dealer on the game.
He's going to have an answer to both Solar Crest. That's a big pickup for him.
If he gets that MKB, it's that could be the chance for Team Freedom to close the game out.
Hope with a BKB. Not sold on this item choice. Yeah, there's a Night Stalker, but
yeah, surely
doesn't feel like a
do you need the 4K investment for that? Could you have gone for a Yules or such?
I think he's thinking long-term where he wants to be able to be a late-game carry, and BKB is better for the late-game carry quap.
Okay.
Since you want to be able to actually do damage while you're BKB, whereas you use yourself, you're not dealing damage, you're just like flying in the air and then you have to blink escape. So BKB is the more like offensive of the two.
So their quick escape from CompLexity. Freedom came out as we see there as well, not too surprised. That swing around indeed as Freedom take control of this game now.
Yeah, they're gonna sweep through the map. They're pushing out this bottom lane just because there's a few towers there. They've been spending most of their time in the mid and the top lanes, but decided it's time to collect those bounties. Perhaps take another fight now, as best will set up a potential opportunity to go in. CCNC with the BKB can actually just blink into 5 heroes if he wants now.
I like that. I mean, as you said, there's definitely things that go through it, but it allows it to be a little more careless with his plays and just jump in, get it those positions, cause chaos for CompLexity, and so they will have to make the decision on who to jump on. And if anything, that's just going to open up the playing field for Yawar to get to work on the lifestealer, and of course just to get him into the good positions on the back without worrying too much about your own life on the quad.
It's the Axe Gem on Night Stalker. This is where Cole has to try and use that vision. Problem is, you have this vision, but you don't actually have initiation. And I think most Night Stalker drafts you'll see, like, you have a Night Stalker with, like, a Sand King or some kind of hero that can just blink initiate to start a fight. They just lack that.
I mean, I think, you're kind of looking what's your job to get, like, a Blink Abyssal. Then you've got that initiation, but that is a long, long way away.
Duels on Jakiro, perhaps, could be an option, but Demon's not farming any items since getting his 4-staff, so use this vision to perhaps get eyes on like the Tide Hunter to throw a silence on him, but I imagine we'll see like the Greaves completion fairly soon for Snake King. Doesn't have it queued up for now, has the blink, but either way, he's not. If he gets silence, he'll just wait for it to end. His team's tanky enough, they're not dying. It's not like a silence is going to win you a team fight on the Tide.
We'll find the play now, so the pick. Straight in, FD comes through with the overgrowth hold to come back. The Pace is going to be able to ward this one off. CCNC Yawar jumping in, but move with the Blade Fury, backs himself away. They'll turn their attention towards C3, get the easy kill to start with as they bring down the Chen. Swindles trying to flap himself away on the Night Stalker, but Gay will come around. He's taken down, snaking with the 3-man Ravage. Steam Scripts there as well, locking down Moo. They'll claim themselves a third. Jesse will be successful with the TP out. But there we have it again, a good fight for Freedom. 3 taken down at CompLexity. Mid lane though, the creeps are doing it. Z-Freak with the rat-tat-tat takes down the range racks at least. Melee racks will still survive, so they'll be fine. Like, losing a range racks at this stage of the game, when you just want a team fight as confidently as you have, you're still okay. And they're looking to Roche as well, and they should be able to clean it up before CompLexity have a chance to get themselves back alive and into the pit.
A bit unexpected that they lose that mid lane. Perhaps just caught a little bit with their pants down, but ultimately, like you say, they're not going to be too worried considering how convincingly they won that fight. They're going to get Canadians and cheese. It's still a heavy win for Freedom, who have a full Mjolnir. When I saw the BKB pick, I was like, oh, he's not farming all too fast, but one fight later, he's got a Mjolnir, and well, you're no longer worried about that mid-range tracks being lost. Pop can push out lanes very fast. Tide does all right. Life's still not great without any kind of Maelstrom Mjolnir himself, but I think this is going to be the stage of the game where Freedom can just take a team fight, win one fight, take 2-3 lanes of racks and win the game.
Absolutely, yeah, as you said, the BKB Mjolnir, yeah, there we have it. There's your right click now. CCNC can punch out a lot of damage in these fights.
Don't even have Ravage, they don't care, it's not even up for like a minute here, but they're still going to get on the high ground, start chipping, and to see what damage they can do.
It really just feels at this stage the itemization has just been a little bit better this game from Team Freedom for the kind of the way that this game's been going. And CompLexity are certainly going to struggle with bringing a stop to this. Yawar straight in with the Rage, fortification comes out. Blue trying to get a hit in onto the lifestealer, but the living armor's there. And now turn towards Snake King. Again, Chessie trying to get hits through, but very little he can do. He's got a Hurricane Pike complete, but still, damage is not something that this Viper can offer. 37 minutes into the game.
Down, this will be tier 3 tower easily claimed.
Maybe even more if they want to. Freedom They still are respecting the fact that CompLexity can look to take a team fight. And constantly, these side lanes, they are being pushed out. You know, Z-Freak doing his best for the team to keep that pressure off them on all lanes.
Pretty pesky. We'll force probably at least one hero to TP back fairly soon. And they're going to try and initiate to try and allow those creeps to actually threaten to take a Rax. The idea behind this smoke is let's try and cancel TPs. Let's try and distract them while we actually break this high ground.
He's going to get this tier 3.
Yeah, TP's only now
this
coming.
This split push from the chain creeps is doing a lot.
Jeez, big damage.
And he even saves most of them there to bring back.
No, take a fight without a quap, but I don't even think they can win this fight without beating without the quap there.
Maybe they can get the Bane. Oh, okay. If you get stuck in the ice path, they can certainly get the Bane. So they will get stanking for this.
One support. Seemed like Freedom just said, give it up and give them that one support kill. We'll push out these lanes and come back and take a proper fight rather than risk this 4v5.
I mean, the Chen split push could certainly end up doing some big things for this game.
Yep. So far, it already has really kept. Yeah, as far as the last 10-15 minutes, the Chen split push has been the one thing Cole have going for them. See some like Boots of Travel picked up as perhaps the next item for someone like Quap.
On a pond, break is there, straight in with the Omni Slash, falling down low, and they get him, can they finish him off? Yes, they can. Making down for 60. Gem hits the deck, but Freedom should be able to retrieve that as it is deep behind the tier 2. They'll get it out of there.
Bit of a mistake there. You got to respect Silver Edges as a Tide. I think Tide's kind of re-emerging a bit, but Silver Edge was one of the big reasons this hero fell off because it completely gets through a Kraken. So Tide's one of the big things as an off-playing Initiate was you could always get your ulti off and get away from initiations because of Kraken, but Silver Edge able to, of course, prevent that from happening.
Demon Edge on Yawar, still looking to try and finish off that NKB. Diffusal is now done on Mu as well, so his damage output is going to be stepped up. And yeah, we'll no longer really have to rely on getting that Silver Edge hit to have a chance of bringing down a foe. Let's get it shipped out to him.
Mu's the one who has to do some heavy lifting here in the late game, but it's gonna be tough. Quap's very elusive. Lifestealer has at least okay armor thanks to the Assault Crest, so he's not as afraid of you. But the supports is actually where this game gets tough for the Jug. There's a lot of ways to disable you and make your life difficult. A Fiend's Grip, an Overgrowth. Not an easy Jug game to play in the late game because of those spells.
We'll just see what Halberd picked up by who got that up in there? Was it the was it Night Stalker? It was, yeah.
Ah.
So with that Halberd, Lifestealer and the Quap, even the Quap certainly good targets. You know, with that Miona, if you can put CCNC some of the physical damage out of the fight for a bit, you'll be happy. But here we have it, Freedom down the mid lane. They have all the ultimates back and ready. Main tracks will be taken down. And CompLexity struggles again the melee as well, with Yawar just raging up and going for it. They certainly, well, I say they can't. It's still alive for the time being. But they will start to push them back. It finally goes down there as the Siege Group will get it.
Okay, just expiring. We'll see if Cole actually makes a go at this.
Actually just goes back in. Ready to go.
Split push again.
Again, the Chen split push is happening. With a lost Chessie in the middle lane. The Fiend's Grip comes out. Ravage there to set up onto Mu. Mu is taken down. No, he's still alive here. He does get the Omni. Oh, did he just Omni Slash to get sent back to base by the Chen?
Looks like it.
I think he did. Z-Freak there with the save. Gets him out of there. I mean, I don't think it's going to matter.
Doesn't look like it. And even with the Chen split push at this point, you could lose like a rain track somewhere or another tier 3 tower. It's still going to be Team Freedom running. You're diving your fountain. This is not a game going the way CompLexity would have hoped.
Who got the break hit? Yeah, this guy, I mean, he popped the G's, but the was hitting into him. The bashes are there. Yawar will be able to infest and get himself out of snaking, though.
Focused objectives. Freedom have kind of forgotten.
How did the Chen split push go? How much damage did he do up top? We'll have a look in a minute as Snaking's actually going to be taken down here. Yeah, he's left behind and left for dead potentially. Yeah, he's gone. But they do turn onto Mu. They will bring down the Jug. He's now down for 75. There'll be a buyback from Snake King as he knows that this is Team Freedom's chance to close up the game. 3 dead on CompLexity. Without buyback, Z-Freak will be taken out and down. 4 dead. Tier 4 starting to fall. He'll come in with the buyback, but there's very little he can do now at this stage as the Tier 4s are falling. The Ancient is exposed. They have 3 heroes, but they don't have a Jug, they don't have a Viper. What can they do to slow this one down? Yawar is incredibly low. Can they finish him off? But he just rages, focuses the objective. BKB comes out from the quad. They will slow him down a little bit with the Heaven's Halberd, but it's not enough. And Team Freedom will finish off the game, take themselves the victory. Despite some